Hey everybody, it's Merlin here, back again with another MerlinCast, the weekly podcast or something like that. I've got a guest this week. You guys might know Gimli.
Hi.
So I'm going to drag him into this to talk about some geeky things that he may or may not know anything about, because I don't know much about anything going on lately either. So we're just going to react to things and maybe have some discussions about something.
Yep.
All right. Go through some things kind of quickly here. Got some articles up. Going to go over to the Anime News Network, see if I know anything that's going on. Macross Aquarion, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I remember last week we talked about some issues with that. I know that Tiefling wasn't too happy about some of the converts, I guess, with some of the character designs or something. And
what is all that?
Crunchyroll. They're gonna bring about Gintama anime, I guess. That's a kind of a popular show that's been out. It's kind of like a parody. Digimon Adventure Try, I guess, gets another movie. If you remember Digimon?
Yeah.
They recently had a movie that kind of follows the original series with those characters.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like a sequel, and it's been doing pretty well, apparently.
Huh.
I haven't seen too much of it, but I guess they've got another movie that's come out, so that's pretty cool if you're a Digimon fan. Is there anything else here that looks interesting? Prince of Tennis.
Is that a soda bottle?
This?
Yeah.
This week in anime, what the hey is wrong with HeyBot? This brain-meltingly stupid kid show has been a punchline on This Week Anime has started, but the secretly method. That's a good question. I'm going to click on it.
It looks like a soda bottle.
I can't even tell what kind of show this is supposed to be. It's a kid's show.
Okay.
I guess he's like a... You know what? That's a good question. Let me research it. What is HeyBot? Is that what it's called? HeyBot. What is HeyBot? Okay, it is an anime. I guess it must be pretty new because it does not even have a Wikipedia article. Okay, on anime list. This anime takes place on a screw-shaped island country of Nejigamija and follows the two Bakio bots, HeyBot and Yuri Prince Nejuru, as they collect different Bokyo Neji screws. When the Bokyo bots wear the Bokyo Neji screws on their heads, they're able to compete in Bokyo battles for who can think up and tell the best jokes. So, it sounds to me, based on that synopsis, because that's still left unclear, it's kind of like a battle series like Pokemon, but they're robot people that hunt for screws and fight in battles that involve telling jokes.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask you this. Would you be interested in trying to watch that show?
No.
Okay, well, I am curious, though, because you've gotten me curious, and because, quite frankly, I know you don't know too much about anime, Gimli.
I have no clue.
So, I'm curious here. HeyBot. Let's see if there's a trailer for this. I'm just curious. Let's see. Okay, Bandai Namco. Alright. A lot of logos. Yeah, they're definitely turning screws.
Yeah.
He was on a toilet. Okay, well, thus far, what are your feelings?
It doesn't look like a kid's show.
No, I think those two adults were covered in some kind of goo together.
It looked like two naked men eating lobster together.
and
then two dancing lobsters around this HeyBot.
And did you see that the HeyBot was on a toilet?
Yes. I was trying to not focus on that.
That's a weird image. Okay, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to watch HeyBot, but if anybody knows what it is, please
comment.
Please comment. Let's see. I'll move past this quick. Okay, another Resident Evil game. Just a lot of Gundam stuff. Still got to catch up on that one day. Ooh. more Full Metal Alchemist news. They've got a theme song for the movie. That's cool. And that's pretty much all I think that's interesting there. Nothing too much in the anime side of things, but hopefully you'll see some stuff about movies, maybe. I don't know if you know any things going on in movies lately.
What is it? I think last week Star Wars got a new director again.
Yeah, it did. We talked about that briefly. I think J.J. Abrams is directing the next one again.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I think that's pretty much the only thing I knew about movies recently.
Well, I mean, you saw the first Kingsman with me, right?
Yeah.
Well, I saw the second one.
Is it good?
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was as good as the first one, but it was still pretty close. I mean, I recommend it. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Same humor? Or more, not really British humor?
It's similar. You know that Kingsman's based on a comic?
Yeah.
It feels even more comic booky this time around. Like, I feel like the story wasn't quite as strong because the villain wasn't quite as strong. Like, you know how Samuel L. Jackson was kind of a cartoony bad guy? Well, this one I didn't think the villain's plan was as good, but her thing was much more gimmicky. Like, she has a headquarters that is based around like a 50s town, like a 50s diner.
Okay.
And, it's more of a gimmick, I guess. But I thought it was enjoyable. The action was pretty good. But there was one thing I didn't like about it. You didn't see any trailers for it, did you?
No.
Well, then I won't tell you.
All I saw was like the part where he walks down the street and sees that the tailor shop is gone. Okay. Well, don't watch any more of that trailer because that trailer has like a big spoiler for like a big plot point in the movie, which I won't talk about. You know, I'll keep it spoiler free, but people that have seen the trailers know, and I think it's one of the big issues with it. Let's see, wrestling news. Oh, are you excited for Thor Ragnarok? I am. Really? I know you're a big Thor fan. Yes. Any thoughts about what to expect from it? I'm trying not to watch any of the trailers or previews for it because I don't want to be disappointed. Really? Before I go to the movie. What do you think about the last Thor movies? They were pretty good overall. I know you were a pretty big fan of the first one. Did you like The Dark World, the second one? It was so-so. You thought it was so-so? Yeah. So why are you more excited for this one? Just because, well, first off, it has the word Ragnarok. Who doesn't like that word? That's true. Definitely some apocalyptic association. And then it's Thor, so yeah, I gotta see it. So, why do you like Thor so much, actually? I know he's one of your favorite comic book characters, but is it the Norse mythology or something else? It's more of the Norse mythology and just the lore of it, and then how they brought it into the comics. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, too. That comes out, like, about a month or so? About a month, I think. Actually comes out around my birthday. Hopefully we'll get to see it. That'll definitely be one weekend review for sure. Oh, looks like X-Men. Okay, that's right. The next X movie is going to be about the Dark Phoenix. Oh. So I guess Psylocke's going to be in that, which means Olivia Munn's going to be back for all the fans of her. That was actually one thing about. Did you see the last X-Men movie, X-Men Apocalypse? I don't know if I did. Well, it's okay. It's one of those ones that I don't think it's like really essential. Like you saw Days of Future Past, I think. Yeah. Well, it's kind of a sequel to that. I don't think it's like a lot of people didn't like it as much because it seemed like a pretty standard like fight the bad guy, unite sort of story. I really liked it because I thought it was really a good transference of the characters from the comics to screen. But I guess it's going to get a sequel, and they're going to do the Dark Phoenix, which I think will be good, but I don't know. A lot of people didn't like the last one. Okay, we're going to get another Star Wars Jedi trailer. This is actually kind of the main thing I thought you might want to talk about, Gimli. Now, because I think we can kind of branch off on news for a little bit, and we can go into discussion, because sometimes that's what we do if there's nothing interesting. Okay, get ready. You might even want to take a sip for this. But, okay. I know that you're a pretty big Star Wars fan, but we talked about it a bit on the channel, and we've talked quite a bit over the years here. Since Star Wars: The Force Awakens has come out, and even before that a little bit, I think you kind of expressed to me that the most recent Star Wars movies you haven't liked quite as much. Yes.
So tell me, first of all, why that is exactly?
Well, I don't like how they completely got rid of all the works that they did with the books and stuff that I grew up reading.
The expanded universe stuff?
Right. So it's like, brand new universe. And it's like, really? It's like, I know all this stuff about Yuzavong, or
the Yuzavong, yes.
Yeah. Which is neat, don't get me wrong, but extragalactic invaders, I knew they needed something different, but yeah. But even just like all the other tidbits of like Luke going out and trying to become a Jedi and trying to raise Jedi up to what they used to be again, and it's gone.
Well, I think based upon what we've seen in the trailers, I mean, we haven't seen too much. I think they're trying to like suggest that maybe they're going to do something similar with Rey. I guess kind of like go down that path of But I mean, we might get some backstory. But then again, I guess this one jumps so far ahead that we're skipping all the new Jedi Order stuff, which doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I understand the frustration. I like some of that stuff too.
Is Luke really the only Jedi, or did he actually try to make a Jedi temple? There's nothing.
Well, I think in the movie they suggested that with Kylo Ren, they had tried some students.
Like he tried, but it wasn't like full-fledged Jedi temple and academy and all that. It's just it was the base. Okay, Master, Apprentice, and all of Padawan, since they're Jedi. Yeah. It's like, I wanted to see more of that. Like, it disappointed.
Okay, now, I don't think that wasn't your main problem with The Force Awakens, though, right?
No.
Yeah, The Force Awakens, I know we talked about it a bit, but, like, since it's come out with The Force Awakens, and I guess with Rogue One even, do you have different problems with each of those movies, or is it kind of the same thing?
Probably the only thing. Okay, so the only thing I really liked with Rogue One, is that the fact that they used different ships.
Okay.
And they actually went into like Wikipedia, which I'm sure
a great resource.
It's a great resource about Star Wars.
Definitely.
Stuff. And like they used hammerhead ships, which are like never really talked about at all until Rogue One.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, and I'm gonna confess he's a little more of a Star Wars nerd than I am. What's a hammerhead ship?
Basically, it was the old. So from Rogue One, it would have been the Old Republic, not the Old Republic.
Okay.
So basically, they had ships that looked like a hammerhead, hammerhead shark.
Cool.
Anyways,
is that it?
But yeah, that's it.
Nice.
It's more of a vertical hammerhead shark, but yeah. I do remember Old Republic had them, but they were what they used mostly for fleet battles and stuff.
Okay.
So the newer ones in Rogue One looked a little bit newer, but like refurbished.
Okay.
It looked like the rebels had gotten them out of scrapyards, which they probably did.
So your favorite thing about Rogue One was the fact that they used cool ships they hadn't used before.
They used better ships.
You know, that's such a, I don't want to say it's superficial, but that's such a nuanced thing to like.
Yeah.
But it's the little things that make you geek out and be happy. Okay, well, but if I remember correctly, you weren't a huge fan of the story or the way it was presented.
No, I wasn't. No.
But you like the little details.
Right. That, and for me, Rogue One is about the X-Wing fighter group, Rogue One.
Yeah,
Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron. You know, I was talking to a coworker actually that one of the things that kind of annoyed him in retrospect about Rogue One was that they kind of made it seem like it was going to be a war story, more of like a deep space fighter pilot thing like Rogue Squadron, which I think it would have been better. Honestly, I think a lot of people would have liked that. And once again, no Wedge in either movie.
Yeah.
That needs to change. So, okay, what about Force Awakens? I guess because that ties more into Last Jedi. Like, I don't remind me again what were some of your issues with it? Because was it similar to what people said, or a little different? Because you didn't seem like you hated it, but you were just kind of like about it.
It seems like it's the same plot from that would have been 4, 5, and 6.
Yep, New Hope.
It's basically the same plot line, just redone.
You think that with Last Jedi they're going to take a new direction, or is it just going to be the same thing?
I hope they do a different direction, but I'm not putting my
faith in it.
Yeah.
Do you think Luke's gonna die?
As much as people are probably going to hate me for this, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Only because that way, well, first off, he's getting pretty old.
Mark Hamill is, yeah.
And honestly, I'm not sure if he has another movie in him.
Yeah,
and he's doing a lot of other acting too.
Yeah, a lot of voice work with all the video games of the Joker and a bunch of other cartoons and stuff. That's true. It's true.
So, I hope for his sake they kill him off. But then again, this is like his franchise. It
really is. Do you think they'll give him a better death than Han Solo's? How did you feel about Han Solo's death, actually, in that sense? I guess first. Did you not like the way it was done, or I thought it was decent?
It was decent, but at least I think he died at least a little better than Palpatine.
Yeah, Palpatine went out kind of like yeah.
But it's like, I don't know.
Nah.
The new movies just disappoint me.
All right,
I wanted Old Republic. I wanted to see the Mandalorian Wars.
Well, I remember reading a little while ago there were rumors about an Old Republic show, maybe through Netflix or something.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
No.
I want that. If in my thinking, if they do a Old Republic movie, they'll bring back the KOTOR games. Which
for real?
Yeah, not the MMO, because I tried that. I didn't like it.
You didn't like the MMO?
No. But then again, I don't really like MMOs.
Okay.
But KOTOR 1 and 2, even if they could get it remastered, that would be awesome too.
You know, and I know we're deviating a bit to Star Wars here, but that's fine, because it was kind of partially my plan for anybody listening, because I kind of knew you're the Star Wars guy. If Tifa were here too, we could even join in more, but he couldn't make it for car issues and stuff, so. But, okay, well, I just want to share, actually, I know that you're a big fan of the Old Republic. I'm pretty sure that's your favorite, like, aspect of Star Wars, right?
Probably.
Well, it kind of is for me, too. Actually, the Knights of the Old Republic games are probably my favorite part of Star Wars as well. Though, we won't get too off topic here, but you know what I think my favorite part of Star Wars kind of is? I'll give you clues. Not, I mean, besides I guess the main trilogy movies, but even more than that, I think the time period I'm most attached to might be a bit controversial.
What would have been considered the fall of the Republic?
Kind of, yeah. Like around, like pretty much everything connected to the prequels. Like I kind of like the prequel movies a little bit. We both kind of do.
Yeah.
But rather like a lot of the novelizations and games that took place kind of like in between or right before and after. Like I always talk about the Jedi Apprentice books with Qui-Gon training Obi-Wan. Some of my favorites, and a lot of stuff during the Clone Wars, like Cloak of Deception, and I think there's the one Mace Windu, which I thought was really good. I forget what that one's called, but I read a lot of those. So I always found like that Republic stuff around the prequels to be really interesting. Like I liked seeing Star Wars: The Republic at its prime, kind of at the most civilized, but with different problems coming up, and the Jedi really at their peak. Yeah. You know, when there wasn't like a big force like the Mandalorians or the Sith, where they were just kind of like peacekeepers that, you know, did negotiations and investigations. I'd like seeing what the Jedi did when they were basically just kind of a religious order / police force.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite. But anyway, yeah, what is it about the Old Republic games that really speak to you, actually?
Probably because in the games, they went through and they almost every single plot line that you could do had some sort of backstory. Mm-hmm. And you could follow that backstory and information and history mm-hmm. throughout the game, learning more and more about stuff. And it was sort of like they put a lot of effort into making the lore mm-hmm. in the games, and which then translated really well into the second game. And even the books too. Okay. Went on.
So you just like the way they implemented the lore, basically, right. And kind of worked it into the goals for the missions. Would you say the Knights of the Old Republic games are your favorite RPGs, or would that go to another series? Because I know you like a couple.
Ooh.
I mean, I want to suspect there might be another space one, or maybe something over to the other side, maybe to Bethesda. Instead of the Bethesda BioWare. Yeah, I know it's probably going in your mind.
I'd probably have to go KOTOR 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Even more than Mass Effect?
Even more than Mass Effect.
Really? Wow. Really?
I think so.
Because you sure? I know you really like Mass Effect.
Mass Effect is probably second.
Okay. Well, now I'm just curious. Where does like Oblivion and Skyrim rank then? Because I know you were big into those too.
Skyrim probably comes fourth.
Okay.
And Fallout probably comes third.
Which one? 3 or 4?
I'd say probably 3.
Really?
I played 3 a lot more.
But then 4?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Probably because I had nothing to do. Honestly.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, yeah, man. Okay. Well, that was a good Star Wars discussion. Maybe we'll come back to it later. Yeah. But let me just see if there's any more news we can go through quickly. Oh, the actor for Jesus Christ Superstar passed away, Barry Dennen. Huh. Wow. Also did some voiceover stuff for Dark Crystal. Huh. Wow.
Oh, yes.
Well, this will lead into another little mini discussion, but okay. I promise I'm going to watch it at some point. Not that too many people probably care, but I'm a big Star Trek fan. So is Gimli. And I was talking to my buddy Troll about it the other day. I think he actually got a chance to watch it. He said he didn't like it too much. But Star Trek Discovery aired recently. CBS, we've been talking about this for a while. They released the first episode on broadcast TV like normal. And the rest of it, though, is going to be through their paid subscription service, streaming service, CBS All Access. Now, from what I've seen, reviews actually have been, I think, pretty good.
I think split.
Kind of. Like, if you go on Rotten Tomatoes, this is the thing about Rotten Tomatoes I find interesting. You got to be careful with it because too many people will glance at Rotten Tomatoes. It'll determine what they think of a movie or show. But I like how they have the split, where they have what the critics say and what the general audiences say. Sometimes they're like really different.
Way different.
I think the critics have been kind to it so far, from what I've seen, but the audience, they're a bit lower.
Yeah.
But I think, I was hearing a little bit about it, some people are kind of suspecting some of the anger about it is the fact that it's just not readily available, and some Trek fans might be angry that they're being kind of forced to pay the service to look into a show that they might not really like. And I know that there were some issues with, I guess the plot of it is going to be, it takes place in the regular Star Trek universe, not the Abrams movies.
Yeah.
But it's like 10 years before the original series, and it's like during the Klingons. The Klingons are kind of at war with the Federation, but there's this guy that's trying to unite the clans. Right. So there's like a Cold War.
It's a weird concept, I think.
Oh, why do you think so?
I don't know how well. I'm hoping to watch it at some point, also.
Okay.
But before everything like that, I'm not sure how well they'll do.
Why not?
I don't know. Just how soon? Well, how close is it to the originals?
That's the thing. Well, from what I've heard, it's kind of like sort of a meeting of both. Like, I think it's a bit more flashy and action-oriented, but there's still a lot of the techno-babble and a lot of the political stuff. So I think it's trying to be very much like Star Trek, I guess, but I think it's trying to make it more appealing. I watched the opening, and I thought it was interesting because, how usually the openings are like kind of just shots of the ships in space and a bombastic, like, orchestral score.
Yeah.
It was more like the Marvel Netflix shows where they have like this canvas with like paintings and like they're painting the model of the ship, and it was more subdued, but I liked that. But that's the best way to describe it. Is I just feel like it's trying to be kind of a hipper. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, were you excited much for it, or are you now? Like, okay, well, let me put it to you this way. Especially since you haven't seen the first show, the first episode, would you pay for CBS All Access just to watch Star Trek Discovery?
No.
Why not?
Well, first off, I'm cheap.
Okay, I understand. I kind of want to fork it up too, but I don't really want to.
And second, I don't really watch TV.
Okay.
I don't really find the interest in it. So.
Okay. Even for Star Trek. So would it be like, if it comes on Netflix, you'll watch some of it?
I don't even really watch Netflix too much.
Okay. So, would you ever... Well, okay, well then how would you end up watching Star Trek?
Probably if, once it gets released in, like, a CD or
A
DVD.
You'd actually buy it?
I probably would.
Okay, so
because I have most of the other ones.
Alright, so you're saying... Alright, that's interesting. So, even though you're not really willing to check it out now, regardless of how bad or good it may be, you'll still support the series eventually.
Probably.
I want to watch it too. I mean, if nothing else, it's the first new Star Trek show, like 10 years or more.
Yeah.
I think Enterprise
about a decade.
2005. So yeah, like I think it's definitely worth watching. I tried to watch it, but I kind of missed it. There's some good cast people. I think the most interesting person is one of the captains. Is remember the actor is Jason Isaacs. He played Malfoy, the Malfoy dad in Harry Potter. He's one of the captains.
Oh wow!
And apparently he's like playing one of the more messed up ones. So I guess he's channeling his darker streak there, which doesn't surprise me. A couple other big actors there. Also, I guess one of the main characters is Spock's adopted sister. Apparently Sarek had another daughter. So, and Sarek's also in it too.
Huh.
Apparently, so they're trying to be true to it on some extent, but I don't know.
And have you seen any of the costume designs
for Star Trek Discovery?
Yeah.
Let's look that up.
Because I didn't really care for some of it.
Oh, let me see.
From what I saw in the trailers.
Let me see. Okay, Star Trek Discovery uniforms.
Or just like the...
It's kind of bland.
Yeah.
A lot of blue. Oh, that's Star Trek Online. Oh, wow. They're modeling after Star Trek Online. I like Star Trek Online.
Yeah.
The little bit that I played. Oh, yeah, here he is.
Looks very bland.
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of interesting to say that even though Star Trek's uniforms haven't really been the most colorful, you're right. That's kind of. It's not very interesting. What do you think the best Star Trek uniforms were?
Ooh.
What do you think the best looking ones were?
Go through the different ones.
Curious. Star Trek uniforms.
Ooh. That's a good one.
All series. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Oh,
and they even got Discovery in there too. My favorites were always the ones from the original series movies. I always liked all the Reds.
Yeah.
I thought they were cool, and I also really liked the somewhere between the DS9 and Next Gen ones. They had a couple different uniforms I thought were pretty interesting.
Which one's that? Like 12 or so, right?
Yeah, like right around here. 12. Yeah, 12 is like TNG seasons 3 through 7.
Yeah. Yeah, 12 to like 15 I liked, and then the old movies. The originals.
12 to 15. Cool. Yeah, I agree. What do you think the worst looking ones were? Do you think it's the new ones?
Now that I saw them, probably the ones that we don't talk, the series that we don't talk about.
Oh, yeah, the one that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Let's see. Moving on.
Though if I ever see Discovery it may change. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it might look better in person. It's true, or actually through live action. But yeah, I'll kind of temporarily end off Star Trek there. Do you interested in Blade Runner? Do you like Blade Runner? The movie?
It was alright.
It's alright? You know it's getting a sequel.
Yes.
Yeah, they made an anime tie-in to it, apparently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I want to check that out before it comes out. I think that comes out like in a week or two.
Huh.
So, yeah,
will it make any more sense than the anime with Riddick?
Oh, you want to know something?
You didn't see it.
I never saw Butcher Bay, the animated one.
I kind of liked it.
You did?
Yeah.
Huh. You like the game too, right?
I didn't play the game.
You never played Butcher Bay?
No.
You know what? One of the things I've kind of want to do on my channel with Gimli is I wanted to try and do some Let's Plays. I've always wanted to play Butcher Bay for the original Xbox.
Huh.
Yeah, maybe we should try that sometime. Because we both like Riddick. Let's see. A lot of Spider-Man stuff. A lot of Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I'm going to end screen rant there. Now, some IGN stuff, video games. I don't know. Anything on the video game front? What you been playing, Joe?
I've been playing Stellaris.
You know, I see that when I'm on Steam sometimes. I see you're on there and like you're playing. What's Stellaris?
Stellaris is, think of Civilization.
Okay.
But on a galactic scale.
Okay.
You can design your own species and civilization, and basically you start out as a single planet.
Okay.
And your goals to either a domination victory, take over the galaxy, what they call a Federation victory. Okay. Basically, you get all the other species and civilizations onto your side.
Okay.
And then I think there's, what's the other one there? Planets.
Okay.
So it's basically you just control the planets.
Do you like it more than the Civ games?
I'd probably say yes.
Why?
Because there's a lot more random stuff that can happen.
Like what?
So, on one of my last playthroughs, I had two things that happened which completely screwed everybody in the galaxy over.
Okay.
There were extragalactic invasion, and there were what were considered like was it War in Heaven, which is basically these two fallen empires, and these fallen empires were then awoken empires, and these empires that were fallen were the sort of empires before you came up
from Ancient races.
Right.
Okay.
Who know everything.
Ah, like the ancients from Stargate.
Right. And so basically when they awaken, usually they go to war with each other for some odd other reasons. I don't know what. But I think I had 6 of them at the time that were awoken. And it was just like an all-out war going on.
Awesome.
And then these extra galactic beings came in and just pretty much, if you weren't one of the fallen empires, you were just gone.
Huh.
They killed you.
Wow. How'd you do?
I survived all right.
Okay.
I didn't lose too many planets.
Okay.
But I think I still have the save file. But it's like, I got fed up with it because all that was happening were these extra galactic fleets were coming in and just trying to destroy me, and I was just on a constant defensive war, and that was going on for, oh god, that was probably a good 3 hours.
Oh wow.
And I'm just like, nope, I'm done.
That's awesome.
It's awesome, but it's just like,
could be kind of crazy sometimes.
yeah.
That's cool.
I think with the game years, I think I went through almost 200 years of it just being a defensive war in those 3 hours.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, so it's like a science fiction strategy game.
Right. Real-time strategy, too.
Your favorite?
Yeah. Though I do like Hearts of Iron.
Hearts of
Same
Iron.
company.
What's Hearts of Iron?
World War II, real-time strategy.
Oh, yeah.
You'd probably like it. You're history buff and all that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am.
Basically, you can start out as any country in the world that was around World War II time period, and you could either enter World War II on the side of Axis or Allies, or you could start your own war.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, Hearts of Iron. I think you've heard me talk about that one too. And I'll tell you what. I always go to Comic Vine for like comic book news, and the last like 3 weeks they haven't
all been the same.
They haven't updated anything, and I'm wondering, is the site active? That's really weird, but that's okay. Well, let's see how long we've been going on. Okay, we've been going on for about 40 minutes. All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what. If we have a little bit more time, do you have anything you'd like to talk about before we wrap up? Any like a final discussion or anything on your mind? Anything. Floor is yours as my guest.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Here's one.
Okay.
I don't think you've ever played it though.
Okay.
Battlefield. Battlefield 4, whatever.
Is that the World War I one?
No.
No.
Maybe, I don't know, 3.
Well, I
the modern time period for Battlefield.
I only played a little bit when you like brought it over sometimes. I played a little. I always thought they were really cool.
Yes.
But I never played much of them.
Okay.
I know a lot of people really like Battlefield. They're I think some people. I've heard some people like say they're better than the Call of Duty because Call of Duty gets a lot of hate.
Yeah. So my brother was playing it earlier tonight, and we got into a discussion of why there's not a Arma like game for the console, especially like Arma 3.
Okay.
Arma 3's like I guess you could call it a military simulation.
Okay.
And the reason why we brought it up was because my brother was hitting a IFV at the tires, and we're like, why can't it be more realistic?
Okay.
And so he was shooting the tires, trying to disable it and all that. But in Arma, if you shoot the tires of a IFV, the tires go out and it's mobility.
Immobilized?
Yes.
Okay.
And so he's like, why? This doesn't work. And we're thinking it would be really cool if it would.
If like there was like a war strategy game available that would be super realistic.
Right.
That is a good point. I think that's kind of what they go for with a lot of these games, but they're not realistic.
Right.
Like, for instance, I guess it's like Call of Duty or even Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Like, you can get hit, but if you get hit, you just go somewhere and your health bar slowly goes up.
Right.
Obviously not very realistic. And I think that the difficulty ramp on a lot of those games isn't very good. I think you're right. Going for a more realistic war simulator type game would be interesting. I think there are a couple obscure games out there. There was an old buddy of mine, I think you might know him back in the day. I remember he only really liked to play games that were like really realistic shooters. Are you familiar with the game, I think it's Stalker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about it other than it's like super realistic. It was either Stalker, there was another one around that time. It was an old PC game, but the thing I remembered about it was super realistic that if you shot someone, one of the enemies within 1 or 2 hits, they were down.
Yep.
And if you got hit like once or twice, you were down. Like, it was super realistic. I don't know if it depended on where you got hit, but I think that would be really interesting. I think one of the reasons why it probably isn't marketable is people will get overly frustrated, and I know that if games are too difficult,
people won't play it.
I know, but I don't know, if you really took your time and you were careful about it, and maybe if you could play as a team with some co-op online, maybe that could work. I mean, you might get hit a couple times and you're done, but I don't know. That's kind of one of the things I always sort of found really interesting about a lot of old school games, is that the difficulty was always ramped up.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
For the time, it wasn't, though. They just made it like that.
No, it's funny. I mean, games were getting pretty big in the 80s and 90s, I guess, but for everyone it was about that competition, so everyone kind of had to be good at video games. Now it's like everyone can play, and there's different ramps, and you can be really hardcore if you want to be over time. Are there any kind of like war sims available you might know that are close to that?
Well, there's the Arma 3, but that's PC only.
Okay.
And the closest that you'll get for consoles, Battlefield.
Really, you think so?
Pretty much.
I don't really think Battlefield was really that realistic.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem with that is, though, you need decent hardware if you want to run
for the AI and the maps and the stuff, the graphics to show it, and the different mechanics. A lot of memory for a game like that, where if like you hit the vehicle a certain way, it'll, like if you shoot it a certain way, maybe it'll get disabled if you hit the engine or not.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I can understand why it's not there, but it's still frustrating.
That would be interesting. Though now that I think about it, I mean, depending on certain things, it might not be as fun for some people. Like, for instance, I'm just kind of thinking now as the example of shooting a car. I remember learning a while back that the whole you shoot a car and it explodes is a Hollywood thing.
Oh, yeah. That
virtually never happens. So unless you have a rocket launcher or something in the game, you won't have as many explosions probably.
Well, depends how much RPGs or grenades you carry.
That's true.
That, and I know with Arma on PC anyways, with usually you have a squad with you and stuff, so if you do go down, they can usually patch you up and stuff where you'll get back up and continue fighting.
You know what would be really cool for like a realistic like sim thing that'd be available? Would be like a tank unit. Like you could maybe like control different people in the tank, different people, or you could have like multiplayer of like different people. You've got like I guess you'd have the engineer, you'd have the driver, you'd have a couple gunners. That'd be kind of interesting, because I always found the tank unit to be kind of cool. I mean, I guess you might be confined to the tank, but I don't know. I could see that being kind of interesting.
Oh, here's one. Here, look this up. It's called U-Boot.
U-Boot?
U-Boot.
All right.
Which is a a U.
Like U-Boot?
U-Boot.
As in like U-Boat?
Yes.
Okay, I thought that's what you were going for. Okay.
And
Das U-Boot.
It's a game coming out where you're in a U-boat. And basically, it's like you said, where you're different crew members and stuff, and you're out patrolling Atlantic.
You know, as I was thinking about the tank thing, I was thinking submarine, but I guess maybe would that be more popular, you think? Or, I mean, I guess it would be a lot of, like, stealth and waiting.
It's a lot of stealth and waiting, and probably a lot more patience.
Yeah.
Because you got to time torpedoes and stuff. So, I don't know how well that'll do with the
current gaming generation.
Right.
But I don't know, for some hardcore people, that would definitely be cool to try to play.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that it would exist. So you didn't get a chance to play the new Battlefield? Because it was World War I. I know
I did play it a bit.
What did you think of it?
I only played it maybe a couple hours.
Run into it?
And it wasn't really my thing.
Wow, okay. I know that it was a World War I game. I thought was cool.
I liked the campaign.
Okay.
But that's pretty much all I played of it.
Yeah, well,
but then again, I'm not really a big multiplayer fan.
Yeah, I like to play the campaigns on most games and the story modes myself anyway. But yeah, well, that's cool. Das U-Boot. I mean, looks like, I guess they have had like versions of it, but I guess they're coming out with a new release soon.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, man. Let's see. Yeah, that's been a pretty good length. Anything to talk about before we wrap up? Any last minute thoughts?
How do you feel about current games not being more single player campaign?
You know, from what little I played, like I was playing Shadow of Mordor a little bit, which I think is pretty cool so far. I don't know. I feel like with games now, it's pretty much all or nothing. It's either like you have a game which is an immersive one-player experience, or everything's focused on online co-op, which is cool, but I kind of miss good co-op games, like old party games, like when we grew up, you know, 2 players, 4 players gathered together. And I guess nowadays that might seem kind of outdated. You could just go online, but that's not quite the same thing as having your own private group of friends doing a campaign together or doing some co-op together.
It's not the same as being in the same room.
No, it's not the same thing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the online stuff, but I've noticed that a lot of these games are really pushing the MMO idea.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of elements are being kind of implemented into a lot of these games. It's either that, or it's just like a restrictive one. Like a lot of the heavy story-based games are good, like The Last of Us, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like you have this really immersive story and you have these different decisions and it's interactive, or something like Mass Effect, where it's a really good story that you can get immersed in.
Right.
But there's no like way to do co-op or something like that. And even so I guess really if it's shooters and stuff like that are the best source, but even a lot of those don't have co-op as much, I don't think, or it's not as good, or it's just kind of all the same. So I think when it comes to that, there need to be more games available with that kind of option, and I think a lot of the creators might want to try to kind of find some more stuff that isn't restricted to just DLC, I guess, for online things. Just I know why they're probably doing it, just to see if they can get more stuff to sell.
Right.
But those are the little things I think you're right. There should be a little more of. I agree.
I know there is one current game coming out where you're 2 prisoners trying to break out of jail.
Oh.
And you have to be local co-op to play it.
Really?
Yep.
Local?
Yeah.
So you have to go in the same area?
Well, like, same screen.
Oh.
It's split screen.
Oh, so it is like it's an old-fashioned co-op. Wow, that's cool.
And that's probably the only current game that looks good, is immersive, and so
I guess a lot of those games, like for the bigger story ones, you wouldn't want to have someone else holding you back for something like that. Like it's a commitment, I guess. Like I know that for some games you could go into do the story co-op, but if you decided that somebody couldn't come over or something, you couldn't just do it yourself.
Right.
I think maybe there should be more games that allow you to skip.
Right.
So it's a bit of a commitment thing, I guess, that might be inconvenient.
Yeah.
But still, I think that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Like, you get to break out of prison. That's interesting. A prison break game.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I'll have to look that up. I'll put it in the comments or something. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, well, that's all I got, man.
That's all I got, too.
Cool. Well, hey, no, we had a pretty good conversation. Yeah, Gimli, I'll probably have you on the podcast at some point, again, talking about some more stuff. Yeah, let me know if you see Star Trek in the meantime or see an episode. I'll try to check it out some way if I can. But yeah, next week, hopefully Tiefling will be back, or at least I'll be back, maybe with another guest or maybe solo. But either way, I'll have some more videos coming out. Thank you for dropping by, Gimli.
No problem. Always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Always a pleasure as well. All right, everybody, I'm going to say stay magical.
Bye.